can help cut your utility bills with their residential and commercial insulation services. Whether you need fiberglass bats, blown insulation, or insulation removal, Corridor Insulation has over 20 years of experience and is dedicated to providing you quality workmanship at competitive rates. Call Corridor Insulation at 319-450-5839 for a free estimate and start saving on your utility bills today.
The Sycamore Mall is now the Iowa City Marketplace, home of Lucky's Market, and now the home of Joann Fabrics. You'll shop the largest assortment of fabric, sewing, quilting, scrapbooking, knitting, crochet, jewelry, and other crafts. Joann Fabrics now open. And be sure to visit Four Seasons' new location near Panera and check out their great selection of Hallmark cards. See McDonald Optical's new space across from Four Seasons and taste the deliciousness of Roly Pop. The Iowa City Marketplace is Iowa City's lifestyle center and getting better by the day. You'll always love the restaurants, the movie theaters, and the shopping. The Sycamore Mall is now the Iowa City Marketplace. Joann Fabrics now open at the Iowa City Marketplace, Sycamore Mall.
Hi, this is Ryan Baker, owner of World of Bikes. Whether you're riding across town or across the country, our staff is ready to help you with all your cycling needs. People love the atmosphere at World of Bikes. From new bikes and accessories to bicycle service to rentals, we can help you out. Stop by World of Bikes today to see why we were picked as best bike shop in America. World of Bikes, 723 South Gilbert Street in Iowa City. Cyclists serving cyclists since 1974.
Have you heard? There's a new source for your Iowa City area high school sports news. YourPrepSports.com. Hi, I'm Pat Harty. City High, West High, Regina, West Branch, Solon, Clear Creek, or Manning. YourPrepSports.com has all the boys and girls sports coverage you've been missing. From golf and volleyball to football and basketball, you'll find real stories by dedicated sports journalists. Profiles, photos, video, and more. Get in on the action. Check out YourPrepSports.com today and spread the word.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios, in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Here is your KCJJ forecast today. Mostly cloudy, scattered showers, maybe a clap of thunder here today. Our high right around 69 this afternoon with wind out of the northeast at 5 to 15. We could get a couple tenths of an inch of rain here through the day. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a few showers, low of 56. Tomorrow, breezy, partly cloudy. Our high 72 on Sunday, partly cloudy with a high back up to 74. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it's 62.
Weather brought to you by the Westport Touchless Auto Washes at Walmart in Iowa City and Coralville's Hy-Vee. AllHawkeyes.com. Brought to you by Premier Automotive in North Liberty. Hit a deer, call Premier. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike's Lock and E-Keys for cars. Sittler's LED Supplies. GT Car and his great crew at Supple's Siding and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, the home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Oxyokin. Zephyr Printing and Design and Printed Ink on the Ped Mall. And Big Dog TV and Internet. Serving all of eastern Iowa, Iowa City, Muscatine, wherever, with Dish, DirecTV, Internet, and more. Do not call the 800 number. Call Kevin and his super people. At Big Dog, locally, 338-6600. From allhawkeyes.com, here's Pat Harty.
Good morning.
Go big or go home, Steve.
I'll go home. See you later.
Is everything working today?
Yeah.
All right. When did you get the phones back up?
Like 12:30 that day. They're putting in new lines next week.
Is that what that guy's doing outside?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, running the lines, and then they'll connect them next week.
All right.
So,
and let's hope that solves our problems.
Yeah, that's...
At least for a while it will, until the mice start chewing on the new ones.
I mean, in all fairness, those lines have been there since 1976.
Then you move on to the potholes. I missed the big one.
I am glad.
Oh, I'm glad we didn't get that and get those done again, because it all would have been swept away.
Yeah.
Well, that has nothing to do with me, so I'm not necessarily glad. But the water helps you identify them. There's that big one right in the middle. It's a little one, but it's about maybe 7 feet deep. That one, you just got to stay to the left. And I missed. The water helped me identify it. I saw it, and I avoided it.
That one goes to the center of the earth.
It is deep. It's just got Deary Brothers written all over it. I think AJ sponsors that pothole, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
That would be a good ad. You ever thought about doing that?
What?
Hey, we're going to keep this huge pothole, and if you guys sponsor that, we'll take we'll tell all the damaged cars to go to you guys to get them fixed. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You can't have it deep enough to where anyone gets hurt. I mean, like an earthquake.
Or a car plunges in.
You know, like when the bridges break and you see those cars fall.
Or those sinkholes.
Yeah, it can't be that.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw something on sinkholes the other day. Those things are freaky.
They are freaky.
Yeah.
Now, are those happening more often now?
Well,
or
if
is
you live
that
on a
just-
lagoon in Florida, it's one of these weird, kind of like the people complaining about noise at Kinnick. All these sinkhole specials they did were houses built in these outlets and inlets in Florida where there's water everywhere, and I just would be suspect of that to begin
Well,
with.
then they build it up, but I mean, you can build it up so much, and then
But if it doesn't
there's
have the
nothing
right,
underneath it.
yeah, well, or they got to test that stuff. They showed this big, huge thing that goes into the ground that tests to make sure it's got the right type of. But sinkholes can happen up here too. The biggest one was in like Salvador City or Guatemala City. It was massive. It fell. It was like 300 feet deep.
It was a sinkhole.
Jesus.
It was a sinkhole in I think in Detroit.
300 feet, that's
Yeah.
a football field deep.
It was.
Yeah.
You should. I mean, I think they said the deepest one they had on record was like 800 feet deep, something like that. Think about that. That's like an 80-story
crap.
building. I thought it was really interesting, just stuff you don't think about. But there was a story recently, I believe it was in Florida, where like a 40-year-old man died when his house fell into a sinkhole.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember that.
Suffocate. I mean, he was suffocated, I assume, or maybe some debris hit him on the way down. I don't mean to make light of it, but no, it was scary. It was an interesting. It was I don't know if it was the A&E channel. It was one of those Discovery or whatever, but it was an hour long, and I found myself watching
Some of the largest sinkholes in Africa, 430 feet.
Wow. Think about that. That's a 40-story building.
In Asia.
Look up sinkhole like Guatemala City of. I can't believe we're talking about this the day before the Iowa State game, but hell, we got an hour and a half.
You're listening to Sinkhole TV.
And then you'll have to look, Captain, to see if there's a band called Sinkhole or the Sinkholes. There's got to be.
Oh, there will be.
There will be. I think
Absolutely.
there definitely will be. And the lead singer will say that his life was touched by a sinkhole. And you getting anything?
Yeah.
Because we're not getting anything.
Guatemala.
I could be wrong.
Sinkhole
I thought that's what they said. Guatemala
could
City.
swallow a 3-story building.
Okay. And it was like right in this busy area, too. It was
30 stories deep.
Jesus.
Wow.
Think about that.
That's
Isn't that freaky?
That's freaky weird.
It is.
Yeah, because
They showed cars just falling into it.
yeah.
Wonder
there's
if
been-
you have insurance for that.
30.
I don't think we do
you
here.
Could. I don't think they. I don't know.
Because that'd be an act of, would that technically be an act of God?
Yeah.
Act of stupidity building.
so's
but
hail.
Act of God.
And hail's covered by
Yeah.
insurance.
Guatemala sinkhole.
That'd be a good name for a song, too.
Guatemala Sinkhole?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And maybe a band, but I could be Guatemala Sinkhole by the Sinkholes.
It took out a part of a town.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to make light of it, but,
it
think
did.
about that.
It took out part of a town, and
It'd be like University Heights just falling into a sinkhole. You know what would happen, though, depending on the speed of the town going down, you think it would get a ticket if it was going faster than 25?
It might, or
crashing down?
It might, or the sinkhole would spit it back up because it couldn't figure out why the town exists.
Yeah, well,
the closest thing to being destroyed here by a sinkhole is the KGYM phone screening room.
I'm not getting that one. Do you understand that one?
Hello.
Hey, it's lonely old Grandpa Dirk.
Hey, lonely old Grandpa Dirk.
So was that thing you just said, was that an Iowa City thing? Is University Heights something that if you grew up here?
I have never understood why University
Exists?
Heights exists, because it's surrounded
by
by
Iowa City and Coral. Oh,
it's
just by
contained
Iowa
within.
City.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So what's the point?
Here's the topic. Are sinkholes dangerous?
I would think if you're near one,
Yeah, if you're near or standing on one.
they're dangerous. All right, now we're making light of sinkholes. I mean,
All right, Dirk, enlighten us on sinkholes.
Well, it'd be terrible if a sinkhole opened up by the Kinnick party.
Hey, now they're in a little bit of trouble with the paved backyard, aren't they?
Uh-oh.
And KCJJ was the first to break this story.
You guys don't show favorites. You're all for the house, but by God, you'll report the news when you have to.
We
right?
got to.
Well, and I'm wondering, Barkalow paved
That's exactly what I thought about,
Yeah,
too.
Barkalow paved his whole, that damn house's lawn, and they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, this place has virtually no grass anywhere because, the house is so big it takes up the whole lot. And, they screwed up. I'd hate to be that contractor who who didn't follow the rules and has to tear out all that concrete, that very expensive concrete.
That will be expensive.
Hey, that's pocket change for that guy.
Yeah, and he's in the concrete business. So,
But I bet it still pisses him off because that's how he got to be that guy by not wasting money and losing money. Like, I don't even know who are we talking about. Do we even know who we're talking about?
Their name is Carlson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the people
I'm
that
talking
own
about
the
the
house, but the
concrete people.
The concrete
Oh,
Yeah, because Tom's.
This ain't weight as cement boy.
I don't believe the people. You were referring to the people who own the house, but they're not going to have to pay for this if the contractor made a
contractor
mistake.
will have to pay for it.
It wasn't the contractor's mistake?
Yeah. Do we know whose mistake it was?
Yeah, I know his name.
Okay. Well, we don't have to say his name. I mean,
No, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. We're either talking Iowa State, or Sinkhole. So what do you got?
Well, there's another huge sinkhole in the state of Iowa, and it's over in Ames. And, wouldn't this be a good time for people to contribute jokes, Iowa State jokes?
Well, I've been taking my beating from Iowa State fans for actually writing something that I thought was supposed. I mean, you guys don't ever read any of my stuff, so you're probably not aware.
No, as a matter
Probably
of fact.
not. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, but I do read your stuff usually.
I was kidding. But I bet you
repost your stuff too.
But I bet you do know the top 10 post on Cakerit's board right now, don't you?
No.
That was a joke. I wrote something about because somebody over at Cyclone Fanatic wrote this thing showed this map about how Iowa State's starting to take over counties and how their enrollment's bigger than Iowa and how it's basically kind of shifting to a Cyclone State.
I saw you.
That was the whole gist of that thing. And my first reaction to it was, why bother? Why do you have to keep writing stuff like this to show that you're not that little brother? Because all you do is feed that perception. If you keep saying, hey, I'm not your little, the more you say I'm not your little brother, the more it looks like, hey, I'm your little brother.
And
just ignore it. Just move on. Iowa State doesn't need to, the only place Iowa State has to prove anything to me is on the football field. Their campus is beautiful. They've got great education.
Absolutely.
It's a fine, and I understand the hate between Iowa, but I just get tired of so often just, hey, look who we are now.
I saw you battling on Twitter.
This joke won't help
guys.
the matter, but do you know why Iowa State graduates keep their diploma on the dashboard of their car?
No.
So they can legally park in handicap spots.
Wow.
Oh, that's harsh.
That's harsh.
Now,
it's harsh in a number of ways.
I can contribute.
That's offensive.
I will contribute an Iowa State joke.
All right.
And it's also spurred on by an automotive theme. Friend of mine who lives in Waukee had her...
Which, according to this article, is... I was born and raised in Cyclone territory. Basically what this article is telling me, because central Iowa is now dominated by Iowa State.
Well, in this story, she accidentally left her 2 season tickets on her dashboard and then went in to have lunch. And then she heard an auto alarm going off and heard a smash, looked out, and her windshield was smashed in, and it was her alarm going off. So she ran out and looked, and suddenly there were 2 pairs of season tickets on the dashboard.
Do you know the difference between an Iowa State fan and a bucket of poop?
No.
The bucket.
Yours are a little harsher than mine.
Hers are offensive. I mean, the one had handicapped involved, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, hell. I mean, we may as well just take the wheels off the wheelchair. Didn't Barney, remember when Barney would say to Andy, when Andy would make fun of Barney, he'd say, why don't you go up to the hospital and take the wheels off the wheelchairs? And that's really funny. So,
do you know the difference between an ISU co-ed and a catfish?
No.
And this will be tasteful. Go. No, what?
One is slimy, has whiskers, and smells bad. The other is a catfish.
All right.
Harsh.
Do you know why cyclones have such a hard time raking leaves?
No. Why do cyclones have such a hard time raking leaves?
They keep falling out of the trees.
All right. I think a couple of those deserve rim shots, don't they?
You know, seriously, you should be.
That one
You
does.
should open up the Kinnick House.
Yeah. You see him pointing. He's up on stage pointing at people.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. So, but when even Dirk, even you have to admit. I mean, I don't think the fact that Iowa State has more enrollment right now has anything to do with Iowa State football. I don't think it has anything to. But that's what a big part of the gist of this was. We're growing. That's going to give us more fans. And then he talked about how the attendance is now, it was 20,000 20 years ago. Now it's been narrowed to 10. Well, the thing is, it can never be completely narrowed because Iowa Stadium holds more. Now, there's a chance that Iowa could lose and fan participation will drop. The whole thing comes down to, though, since 1980, Iowa's won 282 games, 5 conference championships, and 13 bowl games. Since 1980, Iowa State's won 164 games, 0 conference titles, and 4 bowl games. That's where it's got to change. All that other stuff doesn't matter. I mean, I've never thought of Iowa State as Iowa's little brother when it came to academics and when it came to campus life and when it came to how beautiful.
I've never thought of it.
I've never thought of it that way. The only place they've ever been Iowa's little brother is on the football field, and even those days are gone, and yet they still, it just seems like they just love every year during this week, hey, look look at us, Hawkeyes. We're I mean, that's just my interpretation of it. And I wrote that Iowa State's better than that, and yet their fans still were just livid. I mean, they were just...
Well, we can't compete with their water. That much we know.
Yes, they've said that. And I picked Iowa State to win, so I had Hawkeye fans pissed at me, too. I was like, God, I was reading this thing to rip Iowa State, and why'd you pick? I mean, I went with what I feel. I hope I'm wrong. I do.
I hope you're wrong, too.
But I'm not the only media person that's picked Iowa to lose this among Iowa media, and I'm not really going out on a limb either way to pick the winner of this game. You could go either way, and you're not going out on a limb. You're not. It's a very good.
It's a pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em.
Do you know the difference between Cyclone Stadium and a porcupine?
Yes. With the porcupine, the pricks are on the outside.
Very good.
Wow. You'd heard that one?
I don't know.
All right. Give yourself a rim shot on that one.
Thank you very much.
What do taxidermists and ISU fans have in common?
I don't know.
And this could also be said of the people that own the Kinnick Party House. What do taxidermists, the owners of the Kinnick Party House, and ISU fans have in common? They all mount animals.
Wow.
Meow.
Back to harsh, offensive, mean.
Do you know the difference between a cute little puppy and an Iowa State fan?
We don't have animals getting killed in either.
No.
The puppy actually grows up
and stops whining.
Oh. I was close.
Well, no, I'm gonna dispute that because I have a dog that's 12 and a half, almost 30, and it never stops whining. Like when it wants a milk bone, it'll just follow me around and whine and whine and whine until finally I pull my eyes out. It just drives me nuts, and I break down and give
Lily
her another milk
goes nuts when Jan takes her to the bank. And they give the milk bone. And so last night we figured we haven't bought her milk bones before. We bought her the pepperoni. So we got her milk bones too. And I gave her a milk bone out of the cupboard and closed the door. And she ate the milk bone. And her nose was right on that door.
Yeah,
it wouldn't leave till I gave her another milk bone.
Every time I bring up my dog, you always steal the moment and start talking about you. You notice how he does that every time. Sometimes you don't even let me finish. I mean, it's like you brought boom.
It's my dog.
I know, but every time I bring up my dog, you hijack it with a long story about your dog.
My friend.
Every time. It's like this reaction.
Bring up your dog.
No, I already did.
I won't say a word. No,
but
about your
it
dog.
is funny, but it's like this. Just what's that thing? Pavlov's dog. That's what it is. It's just. I mean, it's kind of funny. All right, are you done, Dirk?
67th birthday to Chrissy Hind, lead singer of the Pretenders.
I love the Pretenders.
I do too.
Well, they're all dead. I mean, they
except for Chrissy.
They needed to stop doing heroin. Hey, can you stop speedballing today so we can maybe get through this rehearsal? I mean, I don't have any sympathy. I was just. Hey, can we stop speedballing long enough to put on a little music? Am I asking too much? Can you pull the syringe out of your arm? I mean,
Benmont Tench, keyboardist for Tom Petty, 65 years old today.
Who? What was his name?
Benmont.
Yeah, he's
Tench.
Okay,
it's a funny
very
name.
outstanding keyboard player, Hammond organ. he and Tom Petty met when they were 11 years old at the local music store in Gainesville, Florida, where they grew up.
What did Tom Petty end up? What did they say he ended up dying of?
He had the painkiller.
Okay, it was that
painkiller drugs.
Okay, all right.
He was in a lot of pain. He had
I knew.
arthritis, terrible. And,
He was going for hip replacement surgery as soon as that ended. He didn't live
he
long
had
enough.
rheumatoid arthritis.
So
Hey guys, I've got a call coming in. I got to
All right,
go,
Dirk.
but go Hawks, beat State.
Go Hawks.
Dirk,
Taking it down into the gutter a little bit. That's part of fandom.
It is. No, I'd say that. But don't you admit, though, that if you were an Iowa State fan, the best way to show that you're not is just to
win.
Win and just ignore it. Don't keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Hey, Pat, who do you think's going to have better stats, Epi quarterback sacks or the gym class calls?
Jeez.
Epi quarterback sacks.
He meant AJ. If Epi gets more sacks than the gym class gets calls, then I will say the gym class has problems because Epi hasn't played at Iowa in 20 years.
He was at our tailgate last week.
Oh, Epi's great.
Yeah.
I can't answer that.
Hello?
It was mean.
Repeat after me. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Because the call jerk got was me.
No, that
was mean.
That was mean.
That was.
But effective. And sometimes to be effective, you have to be mean. Is
That's
that fair?
funny.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, that's funny.
So is Jeff out driving and spinning cement, and you can still think like that, huh? But I think, and I tweeted this last night, I can't remember when I've looked more forward to Iowa State game.
Oh, no, I know. Me too.
I mean, a 4 o'clock time, I don't really like that. Do you?
Yes.
I don't have a problem with it. It's not entirely a night game. And
would you rather have it be 7 o'clock?
No.
I wouldn't either.
No, and it gets us away from the rain. If any rain pops up, it should be done by noon. So.
I prefer later starts.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that 11 for Iowa State's a little early because, I mean, you want the build-up, what have you. But, yeah, I guess 2:30, I guess, would be preferable.
Yeah.
I mean, but, whatever. If you're complaining about the start time, then you don't have much to complain about.
Yeah, and, 11 o'clock, I mean, I can have a few beers before 11 o'clock, but it's not the same. I mean, it's more fun to have some beers in the afternoon than it is in the morning.
Centers around consumption of alcohol is kind of your...
definitely.
There you go.
Well, plus, I like it when it's a better atmosphere.
Hey, that's not annoying. What's he doing up there?
Ooh.
You don't hear that pounding?
Oh, they're going into the building.
What is this, like signs?
Yes.
Remember when they...
Just like signs.
I mean, I just could not figure out how they couldn't get through a couple wooded doors nailed shut. They're aliens.
They're going into the building.
Aliens could get in if they wanted.
I mean, wouldn't you think that if aliens could make it all the way down here, that a door with a couple 2x4s?
That was just stupid.
I know, the water thing, but I've got more issues than just the water. Why couldn't they get through the nails?
I don't know. I don't know why they
that.
couldn't get, or the doors, or they didn't come down with guns.
Or we would have... If we
cyclone fans.
Well, there you go. If we invaded another planet, I think
and listening to the gym class.
There you go. I don't know.
You just talked about why don't the Cyclones shut up about the Hawks if they're on, and then we keep ripping the gym.
I like.
Basically.
I don't ever bring up you guys are the ones who bring up the gym class. I never bring up.
You brought them up before.
I
rarely bring.
I bring them up
to make fun of them. It's fun, I know.
Yeah.
But no, I've brought them up once or twice, saying, "Gee, I thought you were going to go to the gym class there, but you surprised me."
I have never heard it. I've never heard the station. I don't even know what time it's on.
Well, you don't even watch commercials, do you?
I
always find that weird. A guy who makes his money in advertising doesn't watch advertising. Isn't that kind of weird?
There's too much of it. I go crazy watching a football game in real time. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the nice thing with TV, you can at least change the channel. But I don't know how you guys sit through those TV timeouts at at Kinnick. Those are they're agonizing enough in the press.
Oh, I would rather sit through them in Kinnick than at home in front of a TV.
Oh, God, I wouldn't, because TV, and,
I
think it's all great. Go to the games. I'm not, but, oh, man, you give me a remote at home. I mean, you couldn't pay me to go to a college game in person. That's just me. I've just never been.
Actually, they do pay you. You pay yourself.
Well, that's why I go. I mean, if it was my decision, I'd be right there at home. But I've just never been a big sports attendance guy.
Yeah, I like it.
I remember going to an NBA game up in Minneapolis and see Michael Jordan play, and there was like so far up you couldn't. And I just I'd much rather just watch this on TV. I've always kind of been that way.
I've been to one NBA game.
I've been
up in Minneapolis.
I've been to about 5, and none of them really had
No, I don't.
None of them really had a big effect on me. I've been to Major League Baseball games, and it is what it is.
I like baseball games.
I don't like watch. I mean, I like watching Iowa baseball, and that's different. I mean, I like watching the Cubs. Like I always go in and out of Cub games. I can't go start to finish. I've never been a start to finish unless it's World Series or whatever. I mean, Cubs game last night, that was incredible that they were able to win that game. And Wilson guy who's been pitching pretty good lately gets a big 2 outs, and one of them was a hard hit ball hit right at and baseball. So much of baseball's luck where that ball goes.
No, we got to take a break.
Oh, we're good.
Hello.
What is going on, guys?
Oh, how you doing, Adam? How's it going?
I'm ready for this weather to break.
You ready for are you going to the game tomorrow?
I am. I'm going to head down. We're going to do, there's some stuff going on before. Suter is doing a kind of a hurricane safe house.
Yeah.
And so there's some former guys like Tim Dwight and Sage Rosenfeld and Bruner and Horner and a bunch of former players are going to be down there too. So we're going to do a little volunteer stuff before.
Oh, neat. Here's Adam Haleska, Wells Fargo Advisors with the markets.
Thanks, guys. Good morning, everyone. Stocks were mixed on Thursday. The Dow added 20 points yesterday to close at 25,995. S&P lost 10 points to 2,878, and Nasdaq Composite fell 72 points yesterday to close at 7,922. Those major averages were mostly lower as technology stocks extended losses from the previous session. 6 of 11 sectors in the S&P finished higher, but were unable to overcome that sharp decline in both tech and energy groups. Apple was down 1.6% yesterday to finish up at $223.10 a share, and Facebook was down 2.8% to close at $162 a share. Industrials were a notable outperformer as Boeing climbed 1.3% and Lockheed Martin added 2.4%. Looking at Friday, September 7th here, the major averages are currently mixed as investors assess the latest economic updates this morning. Currently, the Dow is down 32 points, S&P is up 1, and Nasdaq is trading up 28 points this morning. On the data front, non-farm payrolls increased by 201,000 for the month of July. That number was well above the projected 190,000. Average hours for earnings increased by 2.9% year over year in the prior month. That was topping analyst estimates of 2.7%. And meanwhile, the unemployment rate did climb 3.9%, but remains at historically low levels. In earnings, Broadcom is rising 6.8% this morning, and Palo Alto Networks is climbing 4.9% after both companies topped analyst earnings projections. European markets are mostly lower here in mid-session. The Euro Stock 600 is off 0.3% and is on pace for its worst week since March. In Frankfurt, Germany's DAX is down 0.3% as well after a disappointing update on industrial production. And treasuries are weaker along the curve. The yield on the 10-year note is up 3 basis points. It's at 2.91%. In commodities, crude is up 0.3% to $67.95 a barrel. And gold is gaining 0.3% as well, and that's at $12.01 an ounce, all amid a weaker dollar. Once again, this has been Adam Haleska with Wells Fargo Advisors, LLC, member SIPC. If you're in the Iowa City, Coralville area, we can be reached at 319-338-3799, or you can always come in and see us. Adam Haleska, Corey Erie, and Ted Stoley, and Daryl Courtney. We're at 501 12th Avenue, Suite 201 in Coralville, Iowa.
Have a great weekend, Adam.
You too, guys. Thanks.
We're as close as your smart device. Just ask Alexa to play KCJJ on TuneIn. Our video and audio streams are powered by Lucky's Market at the Iowa City Marketplace.
Not a bad forecast. Occasional showers today. Highs around 70 degrees. Some scattered showers tonight, 58. Tomorrow, a slight chance of rain, but pretty early. Highs around 70 degrees. At halftime, it'll be about 65. Mid-50s tomorrow night. Mid-70s on Sunday and Monday.
That's a great forecast.
It really is.
Considering what we were looking at the first part of the week.
I'd have to wear jeans to the game tonight. No shorts. How cold did it get tonight?
Down to 58.
Whoa. Long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, it's only 60 now.
I know. I mean, I was actually kind of chilly coming out here.
Yeah.
And
That's still shorts weather for Scoots, but
we'll.
I think
I might wear a jacket tomorrow.
What's the high tomorrow again? Did you say high 60s? Low 70s?
Near 70.
So have you gotten your Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coat sleeve shortened yet?
No, you just asked me about that.
You haven't done that yet?
No, you just asked me about it yesterday.
Yes, you could have gotten it done.
No, I went home and
turned the TV on. And
no, I took a nap.
The rest,
I took a nap. I mean, I was dead.
When you say a nap, 2, 3, 4 hours? What's
about 4.5 hours?
Wow,
I was dead.
That's like a night's sleep.
Well, I didn't sleep the night before because we stayed up watching Ozark to complete the whole damn thing. Didn't get to bed till like 1:45 to midnight. Got up at 3.
So you didn't sleep? What went on between midnight and 3 if you weren't sleeping?
I slept between midnight and 3.
Okay, so then you combine that with the nap, you're working 8 hours sleep. Hell, you're getting more sleep than I do.
Yeah, and the damn dream I had answering the freaking phone all night. Finally, a happy ending because they hired me at the gym class.
I knew he was going there. I just let him go. Just let him go.
Then the phone stopped ringing?
You're not even trying to hide him anymore.
Even trying. I'm not even trying to come up with a good
No,
line.
you're just throwing him in there whenever you want now. It's like throwing pebbles in the pond. You know it's going to hit some way. So, all right, let's go back to the big game.
You think we got to hold Montgomery under 100 yards on the ground?
Well, not necessarily. You didn't do that last year, and you still won.
Still won. Yeah.
I mean, I think that would help. I mean, I've got Iowa State winning 27-24, and I know that's pissed some Iowa fans off who can't separate picking without bias and loyalty. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm just going with my gut feeling. You've had years since I've been here where you picked Iowa, or have you?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's not. So it doesn't.
Are you picking them now?
No, but I have been waffling. I mean, I don't. Ivory Kelly Martin not playing is not going to help.
That doesn't do anything to me. We don't know if he's not playing. I mean, were they saying on Kakert's board that he's not playing?
And it's all over Twitter.
Well, I mean, what do you mean it's all over Twitter? I've seen all the same stuff. Nothing.
No, not necessarily. It depends who you follow.
Nothing with any authority. What do you mean it depends?
Zero authority.
So give me your big source that's saying he's not playing.
No, there's no source. No,
I mean,
not
nobody
HawkeyeSports.com or Kirk Ferentz, the real Kirk.
What is it, like stems and seeds? And I mean, see that's the problem with social media.
Is pretty
I mean, there's a
guy.
good chance he's not playing. This is the kind of thing. Well, you can throw it up against the wall, and you got a 50% chance of being right. But none of those people know if he's playing or not. And there's been times I've done this all week long. People have been insisting he's not playing or he is playing, and they're wrong. The Drew Tate stuff. I mean, it goes on
broken
forever.
leg.
Hello.
But, I mean, and I just don't think that will make a huge difference in the game. I mean,
one way or another.
Hello.
All right. I think you guys are bypassing an important factor
What's
in
that?
this game. Ryan. Because he grew up in this environment. He's been on the team. He knows.
Who'd he say?
Brian.
Brian who?
Ryan. Friends.
Oh,
Brian Ferentz.
Okay, okay. What is he, like Prince? He doesn't need a last name when you're...
What are we talking about?
I didn't know. I know. I didn't know.
Do you know associated with the Hawkeye?
I just didn't know it's just Brian. I mean, now I do. It's like that guy who's the head of...
Brian are like that.
Like the guy who owns the CEO of Twitter. They call him Jack. And I'm like, who the hell's Jack? But I guess he just goes by Jack. Do you know that? Jack.
No.
He's Jack.
I don't know Jack.
I don't know Jack either. All right. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
So, he knows how important this game is. Unlike a lot of our other offensive coordinators.
Oh,
I don't buy that hogwash.
No, I do.
That's not important crap. No way. They all want to win the same.
I know.
You don't think Ken O'Keefe during the first 15 years with Kirk wanted to win against Iowa State?
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt that. But what I'm saying is that he knows that his coaching is different. Everyone reflects on, I'm backing up. So everyone reflects on his ability a lot different if he wins this game than if he loses it. So he's going to put a lot more emphasis, I believe, on winning this game and winning it convincingly. And I believe we're going to just stomp them.
Well, I hope you're right, but I would be surprised.
Yeah, I don't even understand what he just said, but I'm just I'm trying, Jeff. I'm trying. I'm just not feeling the same vibe. So you're basically saying that this game defines Brian Ferentz more than it does any other Iowa offensive coordinator, and that's why it's going to mean more, and it's going to get the players more motivated because it's Brian Ferentz and Iowa State. And am I right? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I'm saying that he knows the culture that's associated with this game, and he's going to keep. He's going to bring something new to it. Well, the other guys, I mean, he's been on both sides of the fence on this. Plus, he grew up around it. And I'm just saying, I think that needs to be taken into consideration. This ain't just any game.
Okay.
Well, all this game is for bragging rights. Okay, to me,
right.
To me, all the Big Ten games are more important than this game is. But
I agree, but you know as well as I do that if you win or lose this can make a big difference.
Just that you have to listen to the Cyclone fans blather for a whole year. Yeah, and that gets tiring.
And vice versa.
Vice versa, sure.
I mean, because there's Iowa fans on Twitter that do the same thing. So, well, Jeff, I hope you're right, because like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I'm just going with how I feel.
I think I am right. I really do.
Okay.
And I got to go.
All right. Iowa easily, because Brian.
Maybe Dirk called Jeff.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know. I need to know who are these people that you follow that I don't follow that would know if Ivory Kelly Martin's. I mean, I need to follow.
Nobody. I don't think anybody knows. I think you're right about that.
What happened was there was Iowa put out photo gallery. Ivory Kelly Martin was in the background in a boot.
Yes.
Right then it started running. He ain't playing, and there's a chance he won't play. I get it. But nothing's been confirmed. We don't know. And all I'm saying is I've been in these exact situations before Twitter, during Twitter, where insisted they either weren't or they were playing, and they were wrong. So I just always say, wait.
Wait and see.
If I had to guess,
you're right.
I would say he probably isn't going to play out of precautionary reasons and because they have two other running backs that they feel comfortable. Not that they would force somebody to play, but I think they may have the luxury of saying, Ivory, you could probably play today. You're cleared, but why wait? Why risk it? I think when you have depth,
actually I agree with that.
And all that stuff could be going on right now, but yeah. I don't know. I hate it, and I'm not saying this is, but sometimes people think things get confirmed on social media before they actually get confirmed. And
well, CNN's saying now that the person that wrote the op-ed was Stems and Seeds.
Was Fat Ass Hawk.
And that's why
Fat Ass Hawk.
Trump's going to find that he's going to get to session and say, we got to make marijuana illegal. Didn't they want to do that? All the stuff going around in the White House, and wasn't that one of their things? They were going to readdress the marijuana issue?
Hello,
this is Randy.
Hey, Randy, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad. That last caller, I don't know what in the world he's talking about, because Iowa State's a lot better than what they have been, and I don't know if he thinks that Brian's going to dress up in pads and get out there and play center for us, but
I'd rather have Render.
I would too.
No knock on Brian, but I'd rather have Keegan Render. But
absolutely.
I just think he's saying that he thinks Brian Ferentz can give the emotional edge.
Saying he understands the culture of the game, whereas Greg Davis did not, coming from Texas.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I don't know what to think.
But I don't know that that's
Greg Davis, they beat Iowa State under Greg Davis.
I'm going to give it. The reality of my pick is it's here,
That's a big part of it.
Yeah,
and you
fair
sit
enough.
Next,
yeah,
and you
that's
sit next
why-
to Bud.
Yeah, and I'm sitting
Imagine
next
picking
to-
Iowa State and sitting next to him. And if things start going wrong and he finds out that you picked Iowa State to win, he may hurt you. So, all right, go ahead, Randy. So, Randy, what do you think? Well, I mean, you're a big Iowa fan. What do you think? I mean, are you worried?
I mean, I'm nervous about it. I think I'm a little bit more confident about it just because we're at home. If we were over there, I definitely wouldn't have any.
Despite, ironically, Iowa's won its last 2 games over there. I mean, but no, I get where you're coming from. Yeah, I mean, you always want to be home for something like this. And I think that north end zone, talk about little edges, that north end zone is going to help. That's something different. I mean, Kinnick looks a lot different now. And you try to get every little edge you can, but it's still going to come down to turnovers, tackling, how they take angles on David Montgomery. Are they able to take a David Montgomery run that's 3 yards by contact and keep it at 3, or does it become 6 and 7 consistently? If that happens, I don't think they're going to. I mean, he had 100 I think they're going to give him more chances this year because he wasn't proven last year.
Yeah.
They were learning about David Montgomery as last year's game progressed. Now he's, other than him, Jonathan Taylor, and I'm not sure which one I would take between those two. I know Wisconsin fans were up in arms when Kirk said that. I mean, you could easily make a case that David Montgomery's as good as Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, they're both really excellent, and then they've got skill position players that as far as wide receiver, that we can't ever seem to get.
But now that the key is, Iowa's just going to have to they're going to have to use their strength at defensive end to get pressure on Kyle Kemp, because if that happens, that Iowa State offense starts to unravel. If they cannot keep the Iowa defensive ends off Kemp, I think Iowa State's going to lose. That to me is one of the big X factors.
I absolutely agree. I think the defensive line is going to decide.
And I'm not saying I think Iowa's going to get some sacks, win or lose, but Iowa State can't allow 7 sacks. If they allow 2 or 3, that's just through the flow of the game. But if they allow 7 or 8 sacks, then my pick will be wrong.
So both of the lines, I thought, gave us a reason to look a little bit more optimistic. Cause having the guys that stepped in at tackle,
defensive line is loaded.
Starters were out.
Yes, defensive line's loaded. Chauncey Golston, I mean, he's a third-year sophomore, big kid. I mean, he's ready to play now, and to have him as part of that depth, I mean, no, I love their situation on the defensive line right now. And to me, they're the ones that have to lead this charge to win this game. And the defensive backs and linebackers, of course, have to tackle. Iowa didn't tackle very well last year's game. They just missed a ton of tackles, and they took a ton of bad angles last year.
Got a lot of drops.
A lot of drops, and Iowa State had 60 yards offense, something like that. So yeah, no, but this is going to be I think there's going to be a little interest in this game beyond our 4 borders. It's on Fox. 4:05 start, so the weather sounds like there's not going to be major precip or anything.
No, it's going to be. It's supposed to be nice.
Good. I mean, it just
really
got all the elements
perfect.
that will contribute to what should be a really good game.
Yeah, Amari Jones can't be caught out of position like he was last week either.
Well, no, and he may not be starting. I mean, my guess is Hockaday, they listed him number 1, but I'm to the point now where the depth chart. I saw that Hockaday was listed number 1, but what if Amani Jones practiced better Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and all of a sudden, I mean, you don't know. That's why I usually retweet the depth chart, but I don't write these big takeaways from the depth chart because so often they're just not accurate. You just don't know, because I don't think the coaches put a huge emphasis on that. That's their prerogative.
And sometimes I think they make a game time decision on some of those.
Yes.
You know?
Now the punting thing was wrong. That was weird. I mean, to have Jershandi listed as the starter for all of pretty much most of spring, they had an but then Jershandi was listed as the starter going into preseason, and boom, that was wrong. So we'll see. I think punting's going to be big. Everything. I mean, everything's going to be big in a game that has so much emotion. But this is a game where if Iowa loses, the number one thing that Iowa needs to do then is become, I know it's going to kill you, but then you got to become a fan of Iowa State and hope that they go on to win at least 9 or 10 games. Because then if Iowa State ends up being maybe one of your 2 or 3 losses, that could be a really good loss if there is such a thing. So but I still say most Iowa fans, if they lose to Iowa State, would still pick Iowa State going 2-10. As opposed to Iowa State going 10-2, whether it would help their winner. What do you think?
It would help our bowl placement is all.
But wouldn't you rather see Iowa State go 2-10?
Yes.
Yeah, even though that would really.
Personally, I would.
Yeah, I think I think most fans, if you said, well, if they went 10-2, it would really help your stock if you're vying for stuff at the end of the season. I think I don't care. I'd want them to go 2-10.
No,
yeah,
if
we
they
definitely can't have a whole half of 3 points and a cloud of drops like we did last week.
No, we can't.
No. 3
No
points.
doubt.
3 points and a cloud of drops. That
was good.
That's a Judy Collins song, isn't it? And we're all still making money off it, aren't we? All right, but no, I'm with you, Randy. It's should be a good game. I mean, like I said, hopefully all things work out for Hawkeye fans because I'm biased. I want Iowa to win.
Sure, me too.
All right, go Hawks.
All right,
go Hawks.
Bye.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I have thought that, and I mean, last year was a complete dogfight, and we almost didn't win it.
I mean, well, then we bring it up all the time. The 2015 team, it was 17-17 with less than 3 minutes to go in the game, and they scored two late touchdowns.
Hello.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey. Good morning.
I think the biggest thing that I haven't heard very many people talking about that's going to sway it in Iowa's direction is the play of the tight ends.
Well, I mean,
because you look at it, DeMonte Ruth, the one corner that was suspended for the, let's call it a scrimmage last week, he's back. You have Brian Peavy on the other corner. I don't think
they're both good.
Receivers for Iowa is going to play a huge factor.
Well, no, I agree with you, but I think you could say that argument going into any big game. Well, it's going to have to be the Iowa tight ends because the receivers haven't shown they can do it.
And I think the tight ends, as good as Iowa's tight ends are, our wide receivers are that bad, so they kind of balance out. You know what I mean?
I still think Nick Easley's going to have 3 or 4 catches on Saturday.
Oh boy, I hope so.
I mean, I still think so. It will be interesting. I'm just still surprised that he didn't have any catches.
They were just non-issues in that game except for drops.
And then the other thing is we don't know how each team's going to be able to run the ball because running the ball will kind of determine how all these other things are used. So, I mean,
well, although last year Iowa State did end up throwing the ball more than they ran it.
No, they did, but Montgomery still had 116 yards rushing. Yeah, they had 360-some yards passing, and Montgomery had about 115 yards rushing. I mean, and about 40 yards receiving. No, they did have when you have a running back that gets 100 yards and a 300-yard passer, you're balanced. I don't care how many overall rushing yards you get. They stayed in the game with Iowa last year because they were balanced.
Yeah, and they had a lot better linebacking core too. I think that helped quite a bit as well. This year, it's a little bit more improved.
I see what you're saying.
No, I agree with you, caller, but you're also talking about a linebacker crew that was part of a 41-point. Those linebackers were not happy. Josie Jewell was not happy after the Iowa. He was happy that they won. The Iowa linebackers didn't play very well.
Our defense sucked last year.
And they all will say, that's what I'm writing about right now. That's my the defense was bad last year on both sides. I mean, Iowa State's secondary was terrible.
Terrible.
I mean, Stanley shredded them. And so we'll see. I don't think it's going to be that type of game. I don't think it's going to be 10-7. Like I said, I got 27-24. I don't think either defense is just going to completely unravel. But I'm just curious to see how Iowa State's tackles block Iowa's defensive ends.
Yeah, and with the addition back of Good Jones and I can't remember who the other.
Yeah, it obviously helps getting your veteran starter back in your offensive line. Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
I'm glad that both teams are going to be at full strength or near full strength. I mean, we don't know about Ivory. Yeah. We don't know about Ivory Kelly Martin, but I have to wonder after last week, healthy or not. I don't know if he would have started, but whether he was healthy or not, Torrin Young was going to be a huge part of the Iowa State game in the first quarter.
For sure.
For sure. I mean, he just showed that. He looked like the best back. Now, it may have been lucky. Maybe he got lucky and there was a bigger hole because he did explode through 2 decent-sized holes, but he also made a linebacker or a defensive back miss, or he broke through the tackle to create those long runs. So he did a lot of that on his own, too.
The other thing, Kelly Martin had, I think, 3 runs called back because of lack of execution by the offensive line.
Yeah, So Torrin Young seemed to really get in there at the right time, and so I think whether should we just start calling him IKM? Is that what we're going to do? Because I don't.
Sure.
I say Kelly Martin gets that's hard. IKM. I'm not convinced that he's not playing, but like I said, I think Torrin Young regardless, was going to get 10 carries in the first half of this game just because he earned it.
Yeah. And, like I started out saying, I think what's really going to swing in Iowa's direction is to play at their tight ends. But
could be.
What's really going to swing it in Iowa State's direction is the play of their receivers.
Yeah.
They have, 4 receivers that are
really good,
legitimate good receivers.
Yeah, 6'6".
And they do have, I think the shortest one of their starting 4 is, I want to say 6'3".
Yeah, so no, I mean it's no. You're basically picking out the strengths of both offenses to say that makes sense.
Oh, Kemp's going to have to get the ball out in a hurry.
And I still say that one thing that we're overlooking, and I think it could be huge, and this is where Mekhi Sargent may get involved, running backs catching out of the backfield. I think
we didn't see that last week.
Not much. You did see a couple times with Sargent can do that. I saw that in the Kids' Day practice. David Montgomery can do that. And I think running backs catching out of the backfield may end up being something in this game that's huge.
I think Montgomery had 40 yards last year, didn't he?
Yeah. And a lot of it was basically throwing the ball to him in the flat.
I think, honestly, Montgomery is just as good, if not better, than Troy Davis ever was.
Well, I think he's got, like I said, I think Montgomery's going to be an NFL player. Did Troy Davis ever play in the NFL?
Not for very long, if he did.
Yeah, I think.
He was drafted by the Saints. And
Troy Davis was more productive, was used way more. But, I would say if I had to pick who's got more, I think David Montgomery. But Troy Davis, he was incredible for back-to-back years. Just a machine. He ran for 2,000 yards. He just every carry 5 yards, 6 yards. So I'd say, obviously, Troy Davis was the more productive back in college, but we don't know what David Montgomery's going to do this year.
Right.
But I think David Montgomery's a better pro prospect. David Montgomery's really good.
And Davis did it when everybody and their brother knew what the hell Iowa State was going to do.
Yeah, so, it's hard to argue who's better. But let's see. We'll have to see what David Montgomery makes first-team All-American, runs for 1,500 yards, and Iowa State's good. You could make a strong case for David Montgomery, but they still have to do that. There's this kind of there's this sense that Iowa State has arrived, just like Nebraska believes they've arrived, and it's all based on their head coaches. Now, at least Iowa State does have one 8-win season. Paul Rhodes won 7 games at least 3 times, didn't he?
Yeah. And
I'm not ready to go there yet.
No, you can't. But on paper, it looks like Iowa State's got a good team.
I think they do.
I do too.
But even if they beat Iowa, on Saturday, I'm still not going to say they've arrived. What if they end up going 6-6?
No, that's right.
You
have to do it on the field.
This game doesn't always turn into be a precursor. It's usually an outlier. This game is, to be honest with you. So what happens in this game doesn't seem to have any effect on what happens later. So we'll see.
But I hate to say it to you guys, but I think it's going to be Iowa State by at least 10.
Well, I got them winning by 3, and so, but
possible.
Tom does hate you now, but he'll get over it.
Hey, you could be right.
Welcome to the club.
But hey, we appreciate the honesty.
I did see a statistic, however, that said when Iowa beats Iowa State, we average 9 wins per season. When we lose to Iowa State, it's like around 6. So there is some kind of correlation. I don't know. 2002 was the real outlier, because we ran the table after they whipped us in the second.
Yeah, and then 2006, Iowa beat them with Drew Tate and went 6-7.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, but I thought that was an interesting statistic.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I don't know. It still, to me, doesn't really have a bearing. I think we know that both these teams are good. The difference, though, is in a lot of those statistics that you're using were against not very good Iowa State teams.
True.
To me, this is a good Iowa State team, and I think it'll have it'll be way more revealing about Iowa with what happens, but it's still just one more game. Iowa could win this game tomorrow and still go 7-5, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. I really wouldn't.
Well, and then in those early 2000 games, it was also the 3rd game of the season and not the 2nd. And it was right before, opening up the Big Ten and stuff.
But the biggest part in those early games was that Iowa just wasn't very good. And the good players they had were really young. They needed time to get going. And Iowa State was Sage Rosenfels, and they had good Reggie Hayward and Jermaine Billups. Iowa State had good players back in 2000. Seneca Wallace. 2002. The talent gap, there was no separation. Iowa State probably had a little better talent when Kirk
probably so.
took over. And I think they won a lot of those games with McCarney's emotion and talent.
Well, they won the first 4 against Kirk, right?
Yes, and yeah. So the Iowa State team that beat Hayden was clearly better than Iowa. But that Iowa State team, I only think, went on to win like 4 games. It didn't end up doing very well. So I don't know. We can sit here and
we'll see.
But
all right.
Well, I just want to throw those few things.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
As always, appreciate it. Yep.
So I have Iowa winning by 4.
I have them losing by 3.
And that guy had them losing by 10.
Captain's got them winning by 7.
Yeah. Yeah, 24-17.
There you go.
I think they're going to pee down their leg. And I think
the Clones?
Well, okay. Here's another thing. The groundskeeper's out there today on the field, and he knows how important this game is. So he's going to make sure he gets all the clutter up, leaves or anything that's blown in there.
You think
he wouldn't normally do that with other games.
To where it'll only affect one team and not the other?
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
That's my...
So you've already talked to Bud about the game.
And, the beer cans from last week, he'll get those off the field.
All right. Do you think anybody – here's a question. Will anybody hurl within 100 yards of Kinnick Stadium Saturday?
So the
fair question.
Yes.
You think
the answer is yes, they will.
And you think somebody, at least one person, will hurl within 100 yards of Kinnick?
I would say, I would
how about
say,
100 feet of Kinnick
I
Stadium?
will say it will be 31 hurls for the Hawks and 35 for Ames.
Within 100 feet of the stadium?
Yeah.
No way.
I think that's the future many, but...
Hello.
Did you guys watch any of the Michigan Notre Dame game? And Oliver Martin had some catches last week.
Yeah,
I watched him
did.
catch one ball in the flat. It didn't go to anywhere, but I was only able to watch the fourth quarter.
I watched half the game.
Michigan's offense has got major
they
issues.
They sure do.
I didn't see. Did he start or did he just come in?
No,
I don't believe he started, and they're down to their 2 top receivers are out. So yeah, I would expect him. I would expect him to be playing now. So yeah, he's in there, but boy, they've got way issues. They've got their offense just is not getting it done. They can't run.
I wasn't very impressed with Patterson particularly.
Their offensive line is just not getting it done. I don't get it.
I know it's just hypothetical, but if he was at Iowa, would he be our top receiver?
It is hypothetical.
I don't know. I mean, I think he'd be in the mix, and but I don't think he would be Oliver's Army. I don't think it'd be anything like that. Good song too. Yeah. But I think he would be a contributor. But like I said, I'm not sure Oliver Martin. He's not as fast as Amir Smith-Marset. He may be a better receiver. I don't know. So I think he would definitely be in the mix, but I don't think he would be clearly above anybody.
Thanks.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, and we don't know.
That's hard.
I think he would be, in pure speculation, but more productive than Brandon Smith is, because Brandon Smith hasn't been productive at all.
Well, yeah, so he could have one catch and he would be
exactly.
I mean, I think Brandon Smith at some point. Hopefully he makes. He just needs,
God, I hope
he just
so.
needs to get off that. Just to get something going. He just needs to have something good happen with the football in his hands. And hopefully then he can get... Now, the media's laying off him now. No one's writing he's got size 6 gloves and he high jumps 6'10" and he eats Wheaties. I mean, all those stories are done now.
Yeah.
So we can move on from those.
Now he's got to prove it on the field.
Yes,
Hello.
that's all it comes down to.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I've got a question or two about the middle linebacker. Is there any indication if Amani Jones is going to start, or is it going to be Jack Hockaday? And secondly, how many stars was Jack Hockaday? Wasn't he a pretty highly recruited linebacker out of Des Moines when he came
out of Illinois? He's out of a small town in Illinois, and he was not lightly recruited, but he was not
He was a 3-star.
He was a typical Iowa. He had like Iowa, Indiana, maybe Illinois. He didn't have the Notre Dames and the Michigans and all that. And right now the depth chart has Jack Hockaday listed as the starter. That doesn't mean it's carved in stone. They still had 2 or 3 more practices. If I had to guess, I would say Hockaday gets the start, but I also think Amani Jones plays. They're not going to give up on Amani Jones. I would not be stunned if Amani Jones started, But the fact that they did keep Hockaday's name on the depth chart, number one, we'll see. And Jack did play okay, and they really took Amani out fast. I mean, he must have really screwed up because they gave him
real fast.
I mean, they gave him 2 or 3 series, and boom, he was gone. Hello, you're on the auction.
Hey guys, Pat, what you were talking about earlier about the little brother thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope, especially in recent history, like Iowa State has, hasn't it been pretty close? I mean,
Well, yeah, it's 10-10 since
other than the
1998.
last 3 games,
It's
that
10
they've
to
won.
the series is 10-10 since 1998.
Okay. Well, if you
Can't
want
get
to
any
lose the little
closer.
brother narrative, and you don't want to be the little brother, and you don't want this, then Saturday when you win, don't plant a flag in the middle of the field. Don't carry your coach off the field. Act like you've won a damn game before. Shake their hands, be humble, and go back to that dump called Ames. Does anybody, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
act like you've been there before.
Act like you've been there.
Iowa wins 78-0.
Yeah, I know. Act like you've been there before. I fully understand you. Now,
And
do we
I
think
just
that
like
if
to
Iowa State
watch
does
that.
win, do we think they're going to plant a flag? Can we assume that's?
I just think that's something that's a Big 12.
It
thing,
is,
you
but
know?
I also think, and I know some Iowa fans, I'm not sure if that's Matt Campbell's thing. I don't think Matt Campbell will allow that. I've read up. I don't think that's something he would like. We'll see. Now, that doesn't mean a player may get
Well,
away.
they did it at Oklahoma last year.
Did they really? I'm not aware.
Well,
of
but
that.
They planted the Iowa State flag right on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, and didn't he come
It's a
out?
pretty big win for
Didn't
them.
he come out and say? Well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I would prefer that schools not do that, but they are young kids excited. I mean,
But that's a bigger win than beating Iowa.
oh, without question.
It's a conference win, and they were a top 5 team. A much bigger win.
And this series is
Yeah,
competitive.
I
The
get
Iowa
that.
Oklahoma
Yeah.
series isn't competitive. But no, I get where you're coming at. I would not like it if they did that. I hope if they win that they handle it well. But like I said, if they do it, then that will just add to this rivalry. Because you won't like that, will you, Suter? Walking off those stadium if you see after a loss about Iowa State.
No.
Playing. That'll piss you off, won't it?
Sure will.
What will Bud do, Captain? Captain's not
Captain's
even
not listening.
He's not even listening.
And listening to all the idiots at work on Monday, just like all the Husker fans are going for, should be ranked number 1 after if they beat Colorado. It's just going to be a hell of a week.
That's why you got to
If we
win.
lose and both them teams win.
Winning shuts all that up.
See what they do against the Buffaloes.
But then we also got to remind ourselves that none of us have anything to do with what's going on in the field.
Righto.
So we'll see.
Hey, one quick question. I'll let you guys go.
All right.
Did you guys see them high school football scores last week?
Some.
The
Yes.
City North, Council Bluffs, Thomas Jefferson scores.
Wasn't that just amazing?
The best stat I saw was this quarterback threw 7 touchdown passes and threw for like 700 yards and lost by 18 points.
Yeah, he got that kid. That dude in 2 games, I think he's got like 20 touchdown passes in 2 games.
Wow.
And thrown for over 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Where's the defense? Remember that thing?
No,
Instead of
there
saying,
is none.
where's
There
the
is
beat?
none.
Remember that? Where's the beat?
Yeah, Claire Feller.
She rocked. I
Yeah.
loved those commercials. Where's the beat?
I'm 50-50 on the game Saturday, but I'm going to say Iowa 38, Iowa State 31.
Wow.
So you think it'll be another shootout?
That'd be quite the game. That'd be a fun game to watch.
Sure
so we'll
would.
see.
I think it will be. I think Iowa. If Iowa State starts scoring, man, I think Iowa State. I think Iowa can step up to the plate and match them, and then get the ball and score, and Iowa State will have a chance to end it, and it'll be a tip ball at midfield that Monty Hooker intercepts. And
There
we'll
you
take
go.
a knee,
Sounds
and
good.
We'll walk off.
All right.
Sign me up,
All
buddy.
right, guys, have a good one.
I don't think there's any fan from either school that thinks the game's going to be a blowout.
Feckless Hawk says Jacob Park was the quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Kyle Kemp didn't take over till October.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, Kemp didn't. Did I mistakenly say it?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No, I'm just. Kemp's story was well documented. How he kind of emerged.
Before we go to the phone, Jack Hockaday was a 3-star, 5.5
from like Bray, Illinois, BREA.
Maroa Forsyth School. His other offers were Duke, Illinois, Indiana, and Mizzou.
So a kind of a typical Iowa 3-star recruit.
Hello.
Can I take one big-ass turkey leg and 2 tickets to the game for Saturday? No, I was just kidding. But, hey, Tommy and Peck, could you guys talk a little bit about Iowa's punting. If the Hawks are looking at 3rd and long, and we got that sucker type of kicker, what impact do you think that's going to have on the game?
Good question.
Yeah.
3rd and long, I think a lot of that will be dictated by field position. 3rd and long, buried in their own territory, they're going to run and hope that maybe they can break one and just not turn the ball over and get a good punt. 3rd and long, midfield and on with Nate.
It's a different situation.
I think they'll try. They'll experiment with it, but then it comes down to yes. I mean, punting's going to be a big deal, and like I said, I'm interested to see if Iowa State's going to put 2 returners back there.
Well, and Donnie Patterson was not sold on the rugby kicks
and that's
at all.
his concern is the way he would combat it is just by because what Don brought up, he wasn't critical of Rastetter. He just said his concern is a lot of his yards were based on just the football rolling in his direction.
Hello.
He'd get lucky.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hey, this is Chris in New York City. How are you?
Good, Chris. How are you?
Hey, Pat, I'm NYC Hawk fan on Twitter. I keep telling you I'm going to call in the show, and
welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. How is it out in the Big Apple?
Yeah, it's great. You have a listener in New York City, believe it or not. I'm from Iowa originally, but I've lived out here for about 20 years, and I follow the Hawks from afar, and I come back to 1 or 2 games every year. But
are you? Can I ask? Are you listening on YouTube or
podcasts mainly?
Okay.
I listen to the podcast when it drops.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that.
And this morning I was streaming online, so I would know exactly when to call you guys in because I keep meaning to do it and I never get around to it.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Bring it.
Yeah, I love you guys. You guys are funny as all get out, and I like it when you get off on tangents and talk about music.
We do too.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yes, we're all big into music.
And I missed the first part of the show, so I don't know if somebody covered it, but when you look at Iowa State's schedule, this first 5 or 6 games is brutal for them.
Yeah, no, you're right.
This Iowa game, after missing that first game, this Iowa game is kind of a must-win because next week you got Oklahoma in a huge revenge spot. If you lose to Iowa, you're looking at 0-2, I think. And then they go at TCU late in September.
That's a good point.
At Oklahoma State. I know they're not as good this year, but at Oklahoma State. Then West Virginia, who's the top 15
That
team,
is brutal.
And some people's sexy pick. So your first 5 games now are against 3 ranked opponents, your in-state rival, on the road, and on the road at Okie State. The only gimme, and I don't even know if it's a gimme, is Akron.
No, I mean you're right.
Zips
I hadn't really thought about that, but I
hadn't looked at that. The only one thing I knew was that Oklahoma was next, and they're certainly not going to look.
And I'm going to say it right now: they're not losing to Iowa State again. They're not going. I just don't think that's going to happen. And that's no disrespect to Iowa State, but that's a good point, though, caller. Because I hadn't really looked at the big picture, and this is. You lose this game. And you don't have that first game to have that victory to offset the loss to this game, then you do say, wow, look at this gauntlet, because that's what's going to be written about after this is the schedule.
And then if Iowa loses this one, they're probably looking at a 2-2. Probably beat UNI and probably
Well,
not
you know how I did
Wisconsin.
my picks. I got them 3-1, but I got them losing this game and beating Wisconsin. You never know.
2-2 for Iowa isn't such a bad deal, and historically for Iowa State it isn't either, but Matt Campbell is, everybody thinks Matt Campbell is the savior.
Yes, they do.
They're a sexy pick nationally. A lot of people have them in the Big 12 championship game. This is a must-win for Iowa State, in my opinion. And, of course, I want Iowa to win. But I wonder how much urgency they're going to have coming into this game and how missing the first game affects them. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I just haven't heard a lot of people on the various websites and podcasts talking about Iowa State's schedule, but I think this first game for them is, I don't want to say make or break, but critical.
Now, and also, I agree with you, but sometimes that can make you play good. Sometimes it can make you play bad. I don't know. It will be interesting because I'm sure Matt Campbell's not looking at the big picture with his players. Coaches never do that. But they're not. They know what's going on. They know the oh man, we don't want to go into Oklahoma with only 1 game under our belt and having it be a loss to Iowa. This is big, and I'm actually glad he called in before I finished writing I'm doing my game preview and everything now when I get home. But That's just something that definitely has been kind of underplayed. And if you're Matt Campbell, you want that underplayed. You don't want that to be, because that puts undue pressure on your players. But it's out there. I love Iowa's schedule a lot more than I like Iowa State's schedule. Much better.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thanks for the time, and I love your show. Keep up the good work.
All right.
Pat, look forward to following you on the weekend.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for the call. We
really
appreciate
it. Yep, and the interest.
Yep.
Hello.
Thanks.
That was neat.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Was that?
Now he made a good point.
What did he say?
He was on for like 10 minutes.
I think hopefully he got disconnected and he'll call back, because it sounded like maybe he was in distress.
Where do you think he's calling from? California?
He didn't get up at 3 in the morning, so
Massachusetts.
I'll raise my distress.
That's what time you got up today?
Yeah.
After not getting to bed till like midnight. No, that was the day before.
Yeah, that was the day before.
With that big old nap, though, you got up at 3 and you were fueled by that big old nap.
I went back to bed at 10:30.
So you need at least 6 or 7 in a day, right? You get yourself 6 or 7 in a 24-hour frame, you're okay?
Yeah.
How about you, Suter? How much sleep do you need?
Except I go to bed and I watch that Ozark.
6.
And now I'm like,
Well, you have no afternoons in your life. You basically either are half comatose or asleep in the afternoon, aren't you? Because every time I call you at any hour
about 8:30 in the morning.
Between noon and 5, you can call him. And then I'm not. No, you didn't wake me up.
And I do read your stuff. I read your stuff and I repost.
But you
your
do
stuff.
say that you're awake when you're asleep a lot on the phone. Because I don't.
Sometimes I'm really awake.
And if you tell me that I woke you up, don't worry, I'm not going to feel bad. I think.
I sometimes, you get me, and I'll be coming in after the dog, or.
Good morning.
Yeah, that last call was Unice trying to see if his phones are fixed.
You like that? There we go. You haven't even had to do it to keep the dream alive today. He was referring to our friend from New York.
Hello.
Hey, that kid who planted the flag at midfield at Oklahoma last year partially did it to make fun of Baker Mayfield doing it at Ohio State.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I sort of remember that. Now, that's okay. That makes sense. Okay. Thanks.
So, yeah, that's the full story with that little flag.
That's right. I do remember that now. Okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yep, no problem.
I do remember that.
I don't have a problem with that stuff. They're kids.
They're kids.
They're excited. They just
you would prefer they don't.
Game.
I guarantee you, Kirk. I don't think you're ever going to see an Iowa player, win or lose, take a flag and plant it in the middle of Cyclone Field. Do you? As long as Kirk Ferentz is head coach.
No.
I don't think you ever will. That's just not the way they operate. I'm not saying it's better. That's just not the way Kirk. Hell, they got mad at players. I remember DJ K. I think they got mad at him one time because he didn't interview wearing sunglasses. I mean, Kirk expects a certain level of, is it decorum? Is that the word we're looking for?
It is a good word.
Yeah, there you go.
Decorum's a very good word.
What was that book he was coming out with?
DJ K?
Yeah. Remember, he had a book that he was coming out with.
I don't know where it went.
Well, he didn't write it.
He must not have written it. Or maybe it's written and he's just waiting for the publisher. Why don't you guys look into that? Get him on. What would they call the book? Just DJK?
Yeah.
That would
Fire, Fury, and Smoke.
DJK, yes.
Yeah,
more than smoke.
No. It was more than
smoke. Fire, Fury, Smoke, and Snort. That was just an unfortunate ending to a. I mean, I know he had issues, but I'll tell you what, the guy usually showed up to play. I remember that game up in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
In 2010, he was the only one that showed up that day to play at Minnesota.
No, he was one of the best receivers we've ever
had.
Oh,
without question. Great kick returner.
Yep.
You imagine having DJK right now?
I would love to have
It's
DJK.
unfortunate that he and Kirk couldn't make it work out better. And to me, it was more DJK because Kirk's the head coach and has expectations. If you're a player, you have to meet those expectations.
That's right.
It's that simple. And it's unfortunate that it didn't work out better.
We don't know what happened to him.
He's in coaching. He's fine.
Is he coaching?
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. He'll be fine. He's probably got more money in his bank account than I do.
And I see him on Twitter a fair amount. And he's sort of trying to mend his fences. He sent out a congratulations to Kirk on his.
Twitter's not the way to go about doing it, and that one. But
No,
I understand
Twitter's not the way to go about doing anything.
But it's better than him ripping Kirk on Twitter. And stuff. No, I get you
absolutely.
with that. But no, you're right.
Absolutely.
Twitter can be a cesspool.
Isn't it just ridiculous that you got all these freaking world leaders, all of them,
tweeting?
Tweeting. It's just a cesspool.
Yeah, I don't know. The Twitter, I mean,
Twitter.
It serves a purpose. Don't get me wrong. It's great for connecting and getting your stuff out there, but it's also just an excuse to be mean.
It's a good source of information sometimes, and it's a source of misinformation.
Well, and it's also making message boards, not obsolete by any means, but message boards don't seem to be as popular as they were 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And that's partly because Twitter is one big message board in a lot of ways.
Oh, that's what they're using it for.
Yeah, but it is what it is, and the Iowa State schedule, like I said, I am glad because I probably would have written my advance today without paying any attention to Iowa State's schedule because, that's not a concern to me, but this is a huge game for Iowa State. It's always huge, but Iowa's got you and I, after this, they go to Oklahoma. I mean, think about...
It's a big difference.
No, they had Oklahoma here. I think Oklahoma's here.
Oklahoma's in Ames this year.
Yes. Oklahoma's got a new quarterback, but I'm telling you, this guy, he can run like the wind. He's more athletic than Baker Mayfield. He's not the same quarterback, but this Kyler Murray, he's going to cause problems. He's a former 5-star recruit, and I just don't see Oklahoma losing back-to-back games to Iowa State.
You wouldn't think so.
Just don't see it happening,
no.
But who knows?
You got to play the games, though,
That's true.
But have they ever beaten Oklahoma in back-to-back games?
I would say no, but I don't know for sure. I'm just taking a guess based largely on their lack of tradition. I mean, to compare Iowa and Iowa State since 1980, it's staggering the difference. Iowa's won over 120 more games, 9 more bowl games, and 5. Iowa State hasn't won a conference.
Since 1912.
Iowa State's its own worst enemy. Yes, the only place, like I said in my column, the only place that little brother thing's ever been fair was when Iowa State was just handing it to Iowa, or when Iowa was handing it to Iowa State for 15 years in a row. Now they've changed that. The series is great, but they haven't made themselves much better. All they've done is show that they can play and compete and beat Iowa on a pretty consistent basis, but they haven't shown that they can sustain anything beyond that. That's the next step for Iowa State, and they're convinced that Matt Campbell's the answer, and he may be. But you can't say he is yet.
No, you can't.
You can't. I mean,
hello.
38-17, Iowa with a blocked punt for a return touchdown and a special teams punt return.
Wow.
That's all.
Good day for LeVar. Thank you, LeVar. We appreciate it. Yeah. Iowa special teams coach LeVar Woods.
Thank you, LeVar.
Appreciate you calling in. Hey, if that happens, special teams are often deciding factors in games like this.
For sure.
And hopefully now, if Iowa gets another punt blocked this week, then they've got some issues.
Do you have any concerns after week 1 about Nate Stanley?
No, not really, but I don't have him on the pedestal that a lot of Iowa fans do. I mean, I still think Nate Stanley's very much a work in progress. I mean, there's people that are just still convinced he's gone after this year to the NFL because he's 6'4", 240, and I'm just nowhere near there yet.
No, me neither.
I think Nate's done a good job at times. But I thought he was very average at best last Saturday. But Nate was very average at best in half their games last year.
Yes, he was.
And so that somehow gets swept under the rug because he beat Ohio State and beat Iowa State and did so in such convincing fashion. With 10 of his touchdown passes were in those 2 games.
But he did nothing against
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
That's my problem. I just need to see more. I'm not worried about this being his last season.
State.
They're going to struggle if Nate Stanley doesn't at least play well.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's got to be 18 of 25 for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns again. I mean,
no.
But he can't play poorly. He can't throw.
He can't play like he did last Saturday.
No, he can't have more. I mean, I'll give him at the most 1 turnover. He can't have an interception and a fumble in the pocket. They do that, they're probably going to lose. I mean, to me, the quarterback play is going to be a big factor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. I think, but to me, if I'm the left and right tackle for Iowa State, and who's ever doing pass protection from their running back position, if Iowa consistently gets pressure on Kyle Kemp to where Iowa State's got to change its game plan, then I like Iowa's chances. I really do.
Yep.
Like I said, the Iowa State, but I would have to think that Iowa State is going to make some concessions in order to protect Kemp in the pocket, but the only way you can make those concessions is to eliminate an option out in the field. I think they will do that. So with maybe one or two less options out there, can they still get open and whatever? There's a lot of different cause and effects that go on with football. If you leave somebody in to block the defensive ends, that's one less guy going out. So
I believe if I were offensive coordinator, which I am not, I would throw a lot of short passes.
I think they will.
And not give the defensive line time to.
Well, I could see them letting Epinesa just storm in, and then David Montgomery, boom, dink him out.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you got David Montgomery against the linebacker. If you're Iowa State, no knock on Iowa's linebackers, but do you like those odds if you're Iowa State?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there'll be a lot of that. I don't think Iowa State can sit there and make a game plan that involves receivers going way downfield and Kyle Kemp standing in the pocket for 3 seconds.
Not at all.
Iowa's not going to allow that to happen. Their defensive ends are too good.
I agree.
So Parker Hesse, Anthony Nelson, and A.J. Epinesa will be a huge factor in this game. And I think they're going to play well. If they're dominant, then my pick will be wrong. I could easily talk myself into picking Iowa but I'm going to just stick with it. I don't waffle. I'll eat at the Waffle House, but I don't waffle. Have you ever been to the Waffle House?
Yeah.
I don't mind them.
Yeah. So what's the big deal with waffles and chicken? Is it just the salt sweet thing?
Isn't that a Southern type meal? Because they do see that a lot.
Yeah, it's Southern.
I mean, I'm not sure if I would like chicken with syrup.
See, I don't know that I would either.
Captain?
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was hungry and someone made it, it actually sounds pretty good right now. I'm always hungry when I leave here. But that's
I think they've got that at Salt Fork.
Chicken and waffle?
I think. I'm not sure.
I like both by themselves.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I could eat fried.
I don't eat a lot of waffles, but I
don't
like
either.
them.
I don't eat a lot of fried chicken either, but I could eat it every day.
You know, I mean, waffles are okay.
Last night I did what I always do.
It's just like
I bought stuff to grill, ended up not grilling, so then what I do at 10 o'clock, I eat one of those little individual Mama Basso pizzas. Not the normal, just and, just like 600 just horrible calories. But then go to bed sad.
Oh. Hello.
Chicken and waffles, it's pretty good. There's a video. I don't use the syrup, though. See, that's the thing.
So what, you just use the waffle as like a bread, like a sandwich?
Exactly.
Ew.
I would have to have a little syrup, because isn't the waffle kind of dry without it, or?
Butter.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah.
Well, I can see that.
All right, I get it.
So for you, it's not the sweet, salty thing.
No, not the sweet salty. I just, I don't know. I think I like saying chicken and waffles.
Well, why not?
I do see it a lot of that. You should watch that Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Don't you? I like that show. Guy Fieri gets a little annoying after a while, but I like the show, and you do see chicken and waffles a lot on that show. You do.
There's a video out right now from the U.S. Open where this lady is dipping her chicken strip or chicken tender in her Coca-Cola and then eating it.
That's gross.
No.
It gets all soggy and
just
nasty.
no.
No, just say no.
She was doing it.
Yeah, all right.
She didn't look like she dipped chicken in Coke either, though. She was pretty small frame.
Didn't Belushi used to do that? He would dip his chicken in Coke, didn't he?
But his would be Pepsi.
He'd dip his face in Coke.
They played that game Chicken, where one guy would get on one end, the other, and they'd see who could snort to the middle the fastest. All right.
My brother used to wrap his Oreos in cheese slices. So
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't believe I would do that, but it doesn't sound terrible.
My brother used to take his Oreos, chew them, show them to me, and then put them in my milk glass.
To me, there was only one way to do Oreos.
Dip 'em in milk.
Is dip them in milk.
I can eat Oreos. I don't like milk, but I could actually drink my milk after dipping them in Oreos.
Sure.
I hated milk as a kid.
I wasn't a big Oreo guy.
Yeah, but if they're dip them in milk and you got something going on.
I hated milk as a kid. My mom, I just couldn't drink it. It was just gross.
The only cookie I really like is two. I like Salerno butter cookies.
Is that by Pepperidge Farm?
No, they're by Salerno.
Oh, God, have you tried? Pepperidge Farm has
Pepperidge Farm cookies are excellent.
But they're expensive. You get like 8 of them for like $5.
I know, but it's...
Oh, they're great. They're Geneva.
Yeah.
The ones they've got just the open surface with peanut, with nuts on top of the chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, those things are great.
Well, there's... I love... But, so now there's 3.
Pepperidge Farm's expensive, though. Their bread, their bread is just outrageously
It is
expensive.
$3
for a little tiny loaf. It's like $3-4.
Pepperidge Farm, Chips Ahoy.
See, Chips Ahoy are nothing.
You know who's got really good cookies, and she's advertised on my site, so I feel is the Hilltop. Linda at the Hilltop.
Oh, she sure does.
Yes,
God,
she does.
her chocolate, because my neighbor is good friends, and she'll every once in a while bring me these Hilltop cookies with the big walnuts and the big chunks of chocolate. It's like heaven.
Well, I wonder if Linda's got the special on hot roast beef sandwiches today, because those are real good.
You know, I used to, when I drove to Muscatine, I'd go through Nichols, and they had an ice cream stand right on Main.
Mm-hmm.
And they put the ice cream in a chocolate chip cookie cone. And
I bet that was good.
I bet that was
God,
good. I bet that was really
haven't
good.
found any other place that had those cones. Hello.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Hey,
Hi, Steve.
How you doing?
Hey, good. First of all, we got ourselves a rivalry game. I'm excited for sure.
You are right.
Because I can tell you what, I changed my mind more times in this game all week. And, well, first of all, does anybody know who the honorary captain is for the game?
Michael Titley.
Titley.
Former Iowa tight end Michael Titley.
Okay. The other thing is, Pat, do you know who are the recruits coming in for the game?
Well, there's like 35 of them.
Yeah.
So there's like 30. Tom, go. I mean, you've.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, of these 35, how many will get offers?
I mean, how many? A few of them.
Oh yeah, there's.
Oh sure.
Yeah, there's some, but a lot of these. Some of these guys won't get offers, probably.
No, but there'll probably be 3 or 4 guys that get offers, don't you think?
Yeah, most of these
Soon.
of these are in-state guys that are coming.
Yeah, I would assume so.
And there's like 7 guys that are commits.
Yes. Yeah, of those 35, 7 are guys that are already committed. There's no 5 stars or anything. Well, no, shift to basketball. You're aware of what's going on with basketball, right, Steve?
Oh, sure, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but no, it's a big recruiting weekend. I just I don't know if there's any big stud that's coming in football-wise that may be on the verge. I don't think there's any of that.
I don't think so.
And like I said,
we've all followed this football for a long time, but I'm telling you what, I'm excited because it truly is a rivalry, and
yes.
I'm telling you that's what makes it exciting.
Yes.
Because they're both, and it's so unpredictable. But I think that it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Okay, just like last year.
I think the matchup to me is the one is their offense against our defense. I think that's a real interesting matchup because I think that you're going to see a lot of no-huddle type of offense and I think Iowa's going to be real cautious about not blitzing a lot because they don't want to be caught. I think it's going to be interesting, kind of a tug-of-war. It's going to be kind of interesting to watch.
So you think Iowa's defensive ends are going to be able to apply constant pressure?
Yeah, I think they will, but I don't think we're going to see the pressure they did the last game because I think you're going to see a lot of short passes
just like
and
Tom
different
said.
things
Yeah,
like that, screens, bubble screens, and different things like that with their speed.
David Montgomery's very effective as a receiver. He can catch the ball, and I think.
But this Jones guy is pretty good too.
Yes, no, they've got
this receiver.
Yes, and Hakeem Butler, they've got a lot of weapons.
I thought it was interesting because, I went to school with Terry Allen when I was a kid, and of course his son's playing. That's kind of interesting. I find, that's kind of interesting because Terry Allen went to West, and I went with him in junior high, and I just think that's an interesting twist for the game.
Oh, I do too. I mean, his son's pretty good, and I'm with you, Steve. This is a game where the losing team, both teams.
But I think
both teams are going to go on and have good seasons. I think. When I say I don't think either one of these teams is going to finish with a losing record, I'd be very surprised. And you can rarely say that about this rivalry.
It's a game that I think little things are big. I think turnovers are going to be huge because I read a stat that we look at these games that a good chunk of times, and like Iowa's win, it gets down to turnovers, and usually it does with these kind of games.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, turnovers are always a.
But I think the thing that's, to me, with Iowa State, different these with this new coach is their defense is much better. Because I enjoyed listening to Don Patterson's perspective because, with the connection with the Big 12, and that's what makes it so intriguing. And the good thing is I think this game is only going to make Iowa better because you're playing really good competition. I think that's the benefit.
Well, their defense got better last year, but we haven't seen them play this year, and it's a different team.
But I think it's going to be – I think that – what do you think the score as far as the score that will win the game? I think it's 38-35 is what I think is what it's going to be. I think it's going to be around 35 points far as scored. I think it's going to be a higher score because I think you got good offenses. I just don't think you're going to be able to slow them down. I mean, like that. That's
You
what
got
I
good
think it's gonna be
defenses
higher
too,
scoring.
though, theoretically.
Huh?
Iowa's got a good defense, and Iowa State had a good defense last year, and we suspect that they're going to be good again this year. And
Well,
neither
here's the one
defense
thing,
did
it won't be
anything
boring.
last year
And it won't be boring.
in this game. Well, we'll see. It might be.
And go Hawks and good job.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Bye.
I mean, no, it could be a turd. We don't know.
I mean, I got it 27-24. That's and like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I'm going with my gut feeling. I picked Iowa State to win last year too. I think this could be a reaction, a subconscious reaction to picking Iowa so many times in this series in past years.
And being wrong?
And being wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's part of what this is. But now this year, I just think Iowa State's good. I mean, they're a good team. And I think David Montgomery is probably better than anything Iowa has in that role, and the running back touches the ball so much more than Iowa's best player, the tight end.
Mhm.
That's why I give
That is
him a
true.
little slight edge. But
Hello.
Hey, next time Steve calls in, can you ring a little bell every time he interrupts to keep tally?
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah. Well, back to the recruits. If any of these recruits coming in, if they're from Texas, do you think that they understand the importance of an in-state game?
Tom, I'll let you handle that
They're
one.
not too bright down there.
Tom follows recruiting. I'll let you handle that one. Are there any in from Texas? I don't believe there are.
I
are
don't.
there?
Not that I recall.
shots.
I saw
You're
the
just-
list yesterday.
Yeah, you're just taking shots.
It's mostly
I'm
Iowa
taking
guys.
shots, guys.
Yeah.
Taking shots.
Taking shots.
And you'll be doing shots Saturday morning.
That's right. All right, go Hawks.
All right, thanks. No, sometimes when you see that tweet, 35 visitors, it's sort of misleading when you say, because, usually a third to a fifth of them are already committed guys.
It is.
And
then a third or a
guys-
fifth of them are guys who aren't going to get off.
But Iowa's showing their respect and saying, "Hey, we like the work you've done as a football player. Maybe you'll walk on to us." But and there's always then a third are guys that they are
probably going to offer.
That probably going to offer, and that's what we have going on.
Kathy in the chat room, Titley.
Michael Titley.
Titley.
Yeah. Titley.
Michael who?
He was from New York.
Yeah.
Michael Titley, yeah.
Junior college All-American.
Oh, I remember him real well.
Yeah, he's big time recruit. He was a big recruit for them.
So-
Was a key player on the '90 Rose Bowl team.
And he was real good.
He was good, and that's back when that was Marv Cook and Mike
Yep.
Flagg. They just had a string of great tight ends. I mean,
It's kinda like now.
You can pretty much go through the last 40 years. They've had good tight ends pretty
Yep.
much all the way through. I mean, Scott Slutzker, Alan Cross. They've had lots of good tight ends.
Chandler.
This is Scott Chandler. This has gone fast.
Cory Booker was going to be the bad guy yesterday
He was
by
Spartacus.
releasing these things, and so
That stuff is mind-numbing.
He was going to release it today.
Yeah.
They cleared it.
They cleared it last night, yeah.
so he's releasing.
Not more stuff.
Yeah, no, nothing. He's releasing nothing.
That stuff.
He was
is
going to be
just-
the bad boy, and
It's just mind-numbing.
yeah, it really. Is.
I tried to watch like 10 minutes of it, and it's just.
I can't.
It's just.
I can't do it.
It's excruciating.
And I won't do it.
And the poor guy brought his daughter's basketball team with him. They sit through that thing for 15 hours.
No,
All I can
can't-
say is-
I can't watch it.
I don't want to
the
do
guys-
it. I don't have to do
I
it.
ain't gonna
I'm
do
not going to do it.
Well, he's in. I mean, they
Yes.
can argue all they want, but the guy's got the votes. Then he's in.
Yes, he is. And he looks like everybody who would be like the social guy at a fraternity, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Just
he
like-
looks to me like Dave Thomas from SCTV a
I don't
little
know who
bit.
that is.
Yeah, a little
Bob
bit.
and
Right
Doug.
about-
Remember Bob and Doug?
Well,
I can see it.
and the one thing, not that we're
Yeah.
going to go political before, but this is such a huge decision. This guy's my age. He could be around for another 35
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
He could be making decisions for. Aren't most Supreme Court by the time they get there, they're like 100 by the time they finally get elected, right? 90 to 100.
By the time they
I
finally-
kid. They're usually between 60 and 80, aren't they? When they
Yeah,
finally make it to the Supreme
usually,
Court.
usually.
This guy's 53.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be doing this for 35 more years.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's why it's such a big thing. But like Tom said, it's all predetermined. He's going to get in. The numbers say he's going to get in, and
Unless some of the Republicans flip, which they
I just
could.
don't think that's going to happen because then
Don't either.
they're afraid. And I mean, it's just. I mean, if it wasn't so serious, this would be an incredible kind of comedy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it would with every day is just something.
I want to give all the staff now a lie detector.
I love that. I think it's funny. I don't know.
Remember that show, Lie Detector?
No.
With F. Lee Bailey?
No.
Yeah.
I do.
He'd strap people on there.
Did he put OJ on there?
No, but
No.
He did put some famous, some famous people on there. And,
I do not remember that. Was this 80s, 90s?
It didn't really take off.
It
was this post-OJ?
It was a syndicated show.
Was it post-OJ?
Maybe they didn't. Huh?
Was it post-OJ?
No, I think it was pre-OJ.
Yeah,
wasn't
I
it?
think it was too.
Okay, because all right. Well, he was famous before OJ.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, it's I don't know. I mean, it's just every day is something, and wow, we killed. I mean, thanks for the calls. A lot of really good
Real
calls
good
today.
calls today,
And
yep.
welcome from our buddy from New York, because
Yep.
I do talk to him sometimes on Twitter, and to the Iowa State fans out there, you don't have to keep reminding us that you're worthy of praise. I mean, we don't need to be just shut up and earn your praise, and that nobody will ever bring that stuff up. I mean, Tom, are you, as a diehard Iowa fan who deep down hates Iowa State, does it bug you, like if you see a map and more counties have Iowa State alumni than Iowa?
No, because it means that a lot more of the Iowa grads are leaving the state. I mean, that's what it says to me.
Well, what they're
and
saying,
also the western part of Iowa and the central part is very agriculture oriented, which is what Iowa State excels in.
And I agree. They're saying, though, that more and more people are choosing to be Iowa State fans, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. But still, I don't see how that has anything to do with this football game. To me, doesn't it come across as someone saying, "Look at us, look at," like,
as radio
inferiority complex.
Radio ratings go, if you look at Iowa State, how it does with Iowa across the state, Iowa trounces it.
Yes.
I mean, across even western Iowa.
I mean, you can always cherry pick statistics.
But do you think enrollment has anything to do with anything related to sports?
No, not at all.
Their argument is that it leads to the possibility of having more fans. And then if you narrow that fan gap, I don't...
They had a lot more to go. I mean, we were at full enrollment. And Iowa State wasn't at full enrollment.
They're at like 35 right now, and Iowa's at like 32. I mean, I just don't understand why that's significant. And to me, it just looks like when you have to pull stuff like that in, you still have. If you have to use stuff like that, to me, you still have an inferiority complex when you don't need to have an inferiority complex.
I agree with you.
That's all I'm saying.
It'll never be a.
But these Iowa State fans just resented it. I mean, they just. And the Cyclone Fanatic site, it's a good site, but it's a fan site. I mean, it's not their sports information department, but it's about as close as you can get. I mean, they are very.
I don't go there.
Which is I don't go there ever. I didn't even know this.
I've been there, but not this year.
The Ben Bloom guy who wrote the story, I'd never heard of it, and that's not criticism. I just had never heard of him. That's not.
But I haven't gone there this year.
Somebody sent me his story because they know that I hate that little brother stuff, and I've never bought into it. They sent it to me as kind of a joke. What do you think of this? So then I read it because Cyclone Fanatic reached out to me on Twitter and said, "Hey, thanks for reading our stuff like thousands of other people do." And I'm like, "Well, actually, it was sent to me." I mean. Yeah. They seemed offended that but I wasn't ripping them. All I was saying is you don't need to keep bringing this stuff up. Move on.
And if Iowa wins, I may go check out.
Get on there, get drunk, get on Cyclone Fanatic and start. But do it under the name Steve Soberoff. You should do a fake account and just start dropping bombs.
You need to be Fat Ass Hawk.
I am Fat Ass Hawk.
No, I think you should do Captain Steve from Iowa City. Yeah. Get on there Saturday if Iowa wins.
Give my address. Put the address on there.
Yes.
My phone number.
And then in the avatar, a nice big picture of Jan smiling.
Maybe
like
some credit card information's always good.
Get my credit card out there.
Jan in the sombrero.
And,
that would be your avatar picture.
Fat Ass Hawk says they're all pussies. Hello.
I thought if he was drunk, he'd be like Suter.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. I've actually had people say they like the Sam Tudor character,
Yeah.
and others have said it's disrespectful.
Others have said that.
Yeah. And all he does is laugh, and then when you're gone, He always brings you up and then says it's me that's forcing him to bring you
Well,
up.
no, it is him.
No,
He started it.
You and Lang.
You started
You
it.
and Lang make fun of him
You
left and
started
right
it.
when he's gone.
Yeah.
So,
You ought to hear what Hunter says.
yeah, Hunter's the worst.
Yeah.
So
Hunter's a good guy.
Are we done? Can we just end this?
No, I think we'll go
I got
till
business.
about-
I got to be in
we gotta
Coralville at
do
11 o'clock.
12:30.
Good luck.
Yeah, I got business. Thanks,
One of
everybody.
These days I'll drag it out to 12:30.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks
Yep.
to all the callers. We appreciate it. And everybody have a safe weekend.
AllHawkeyes.com. Get your subscription today and go Hawks.
1-800-800-ROSE.
1-800-800